Welcome again, viewers, new and returning to Saviours D&D, our weekly Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition stream, where we again follow the path of our party of adventurers, the Red Wall Saviours in the Forgotten Realms. Hope you didn't miss us too much last week. Apologies, I had last-minute plans, which always foil our wee sessions. But we're all here and present and raring to go. As ever, we'd be grateful if you follow us here at twitch.tv/SavioursDnD if you haven't already, and follow us on Twitter and YouTube, where we'll put our VODs and information and occasional general ramblings from some of us as well. We'll read out any new followers, donations, subscribers at the end of the stream, and again, thank you for anyone that is helping support us. We also have a sponsor, Libris Arcana, and to give a wee bit back to you, if you order their monthly dice subscription and use the code SAVIOURS at the checkout, you'll get 25% off your first monthly subscription price. Without further ado, who am I picking on to go first for the introductions today? I'm going to skip tradition and go straight to Don Broad.
Yeah. Wait, it's a tradition to skip me? I don't like that. I don't like
it's
that.
It's a tradition that you're usually last because you're busy spinning plates.
Aha! Okay, I am Danbro, and I play a bard named Alton. He is a little forest gnome from the Feywild. He is mute, though he casts spells, talks, sings, all the rest through his pet raven, his white raven called Quill. So anytime I'm speaking as Alton, usually in game, it is through the guise of the feather through the raven, and that's him. And he does cool bad stuff and gets us in loads of trouble, burns stuff down by accident, chaos, fun.
As you do.
Towers.
That's me.
Yeah, Emeros.
Yes. Hello. Yeah, I'm Emeros, and I play Celir, yuan-ti pureblood, who is a druid multiclassed to warlock. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, he's also
Indeed.
accompanied by a little familiar, quasar-looking serpent creature whose name is Nox.
And it's usually sort of wrapped around your neck a bit like a scarf, isn't it?
Yeah.
Indeed. Terrorblades.
Yes, I play Mara Clearwater, a human cleric of Joaquin, so the goddess of trade, and she's from Baldur's Gate, and she's kind of like, I like to have a dramatic sweep, and she's from outside of Baldur's Gate, and she is average height, dark blonde hair, and she has another protector, called
He's kind of your familiar.
Yeah, and he...
Geodude, I choose you!
Rock form! And he's a dwarven champion fighter, and he's usually wrapped around her leg. I don't know.
Yeah. He's just horny. And last but no means least, Mr. Jabberwocky.
Hello, I am Jabberwocky. I play the voice of Scale.
Yeah.
Oh, just double check my character's name.
Let me just check my character name on this other screen.
Yeah.
You may know me from such games as Saviours DND.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Scale is a human monk who has two familiars who live on her boat in the form of children.
Wait, urchins. Urchin 1 and Urchin 2.
No, they're called waif and stray.
Yeah.
Child labor.
Yeah. Free
That's
and
not-
labor.
I think we've got to
That's not illegal yet.
Is that true? Because
the captain makes the laws on their boat.
Yes, Scale is a captain of a boat and has been hired to take this rowdy band of adventurers to to their
Doom.
destination in Luskin.
Doom, possibly, yes.
To the Maelstrom.
Yes!
But we will have a brief stop at a little island somewhere.
Yes, indeed. So we have most recently the Saviours have been trying to foil the plans of a band of drow called the Silken Wool, who currently have Mara Superior, the Overgold of Neverwinter, their prisoner, suspected somewhere in Luskin, where their main encampment is. And most recently, they have just returned to Neverwinter after quite a several days journey into the upper Underdark. Last episode, we spent quite a lot of time in a magic shop speaking to Zeradius Farsorrow in the adorable Spriggan.
I remember that name.
Probably slightly longer than any of us intended, but hey-ho. Cyric also spoke to Valrus Stormbrawn in the mercenary exchange and learnt a little bit more about the mercenary company that he's trying to track down and how mercenary companies are how they take their different contracts and things like that each of the major towns have an exchange where you can hire mercenary companies of varying sizes or portions of them. And Mara also had a mysterious invitation, a letter, slightly saucy in tone.
With perfume.
With perfume. Well, not perfume.
Lynx Africa.
Lynx Africa. Axe for our American viewers.
Yeah.
I forgot that whole exchange happened. Yeah.
And amongst that, there was also another. This was a scroll, a letter that had come through, and Louisa, who is your manager of your trade caravan, had come and delivered you. And when she reached into her bag, there was also a second mysterious letter as well, which has led the party where they are now to what they first thought to be an old abandoned tower. That with some mind-bending illusionary magic, when they got closer to it, was revealed there was still the broken bottom portion of the tower, but once you got
Hang on, we lost audio. When did? Let me just ask. Okay, I just read something weird in chat. When did the audio go out for you guys, chat? A while.
a while.
Well, the audio's back now. If you want to do a brief synopsis, I'm sorry, Squid. I'm so sorry.
What was the last thing I said, Dan, that you heard?
Yeah.
Just very briefly.
This is why Dan's handy in the chat. He was explaining the tower.
Explaining
Okay,
the tower.
okay.
Right. Okay, that's fine. That's
not too bad.
Not actually too much. Okay, so I'll go back to the beginning. So they were taken to the tower, which everyone thought was long abandoned and rumbling and crumbling. But this was where you had been drawn to for a meeting with the Azure, what you know as the Azure Wizards. And when you came to the tower, the illusionary magic you broke through, and a pristine alabaster tower with obsidian corners. And Alton had also found another protective illusion where you were just looping round and round and you couldn't find the door. And we ended last week as Alton had just found that, had put the card into the slot, and the doors were just slightly creaking open. And as the doors open, I don't know. I'm going to ask the players this actually of their characters, each of you, as before the doors are open. So they're just breaking open a crack, and you can't actually see anything beyond. What are the expectations of the characters for the inside of a wizard's tower? What does everyone, if anyone wants to jump in, what does your character think is behind the front door of a wizard's tower?
Books and really scrawny people.
I think Alton's just imagining. I'll just get us onto the game view. I think Alton's just imagining magic stuff. So far, he has been pretty impressed with this guy's, or whoever it is. He's assuming maybe it's a guy or a head wizard at least. So he is assuming something will probably be hiding in plain sight. That sort of thing. He's sort of not on edge, but he's expecting, from the way the tower was concealed, for more of that to be going on.
Yeah. Okay. That is understandable. Bear with me.
Perfect stream snacks as well, Jabber, by the way.
Screen share. So.
Oh, your robot.
Expect to be. It's a very odd sight. The doors slowly open to reveal a dappled sunlight rather than the interior room, and it's got a green tinge as though it is strong sunlight coming through the canopy of large trees. You've all been in forest, spent quite a lot of time, and you recognise that sort of view. And there is a moist, hot, humid burst of air. Cyric, you probably find this quite pleasant because this is very reminiscent of your homeland. Warm temperatures, hot, humid, almost like being in a jungle back home. And
hot, humid.
Yeah, I'll just bring you over to another view in Roll20, and you see ivy and things growing up around the interior glasswork, and there's a bench, and sat on the bench is a young woman, looking not completely dissimilar to Mara, with a prim blue dress buttoned right up to her neck, a book in one hand, and a staff with a gold tip and what looked like a ruby on the top. She seems to be in her late 20s, early 30s, with long blonde hair that's sort of tied up into a sort of bun on the back of her head. And she just quite casually turns and regards you, nods her head as though she's been expecting you all along. And through the windows behind, as you can see this sort of conservatory, you can see forestry as far as the eye can see. And when you're looking out the windows from the perspective, it looks like this conservatory you're in is almost at the top of a tree because you're looking down on the forest canopy below.
Dang.
Well, hello. I have been expecting you all. Please come in, take a seat, make yourself comfortable.
Can I look for just immediately without even exchanging with the person? I think Alton's definitely going to be looking for magic.
I look for a book.
Like in terms of something that's trying to defy him in some way, some kind of a magical.
So you're looking for illusion.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Looking
not
for
good.
a book.
Rolled a 2. So that would be like an 8 or a 9, we'll say.
I mean, there does not seem to be any illusion here, but obviously you know that there is some sort of magic happening because this is not what the outside of the tower looks like. There's some, even with a 2, you know that this is not exactly normal.
Sure.
And she bade you all in. She goes, please take a seat and close the doors behind you if you don't mind. Just sits there quietly, and do you all do so, or what?
I think Alton will just be walking in. I don't think he's going to be closing any doors.
I think Celir will close the door. She asked us to, so.
And so are you all moving in, Mara and
Yeah.
Scale? As Cyric pulls the door closed behind, it's almost like a seal, and you just see a small sort of trace of magic going down in the thing, and the doors completely vanish, and you're now in a completely circular conservatory with a similar view where the doors once were.
And Scale draws a dagger.
no visible entrances or exits.
We just walked into a trap. We're gonna die. Who's got the deck of many things?
I think I do. Yeah, I did pick
more
up
than likely.
Yeah.
Mara panics just as the door disappears.
I think
Picks up the deck and throws it into the air.
I think Alton will be sort of he will watch as a familiar sort of a magic illusion comes down over the back wall. It's like, I really like how you have hidden this tower. That was incredible. As the raven chirps out and fluffs up. You are.
Well, I am a Lantar. I think you've been trying to speak to me.
Yes, indeed. We need your help, actually. Is she sitting at like a table or?
No, just like you see the curved bench and the single chair. She sat in the single chair, and has sort of gestured to the circular bench around the edge of the conservatory for you guys to sit at.
Alton will clap.
There's no table. There's no books. There's nothing. It's just as you see there, but 360.
Alton will share sort of like a beckoning look towards Mara, and then he will actually clamber up and walk towards her. He's just standing on the bench sort of across the way from her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have questions to do with realms and things.
She just nods at that, listening to you.
We are looking for a way to retrieve something with which we have lost, but we don't know where we lost it or how to retrieve it.
That sounds like a very interesting story. Please indulge me. A wee bit more details.
Yeah, I think Alton will look to Mara for like an approval that he can tell her.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we have one of our. Okay. So what happened was, we think a friend of ours, a dear friend of ours, his name is Celir. We believe he has been taken to another realm, but we cannot find him. We don't know how to get to him.
And what was the means of being taken? What makes you think such thing has happened?
Well, he wasn't invisible. I know that you can be invisible for a minute, or you can be invisible for a full hour. By magical means, but he was neither. We waited. Also, he may have been fooling in things we didn't fully understand.
Your arrogance.
Oh, sorry. I
like that. I like that.
I cut out there a bit. I missed your last couple of words.
I said he may have been dealing in things we didn't fully understand at the time.
Who, me?
No, not you, Scale. That was a strange thing to say.
You talk about invisibility and things. You're obviously adept of magic at some point, but
Quite. I figured out your tower pretty quickly.
was your friend also a magic user, and was he
Oh.
using magic that he was?
He dressed really nicely. Not really that magical. Very nice person, though.
Forgive me. And she looks to the rest of the party as well. Were you all present when this happens? Could someone give me a bit more of the detail?
I think he will sigh and just look to Mara, and look to Mara's bag where she put the put the deck.
We're here for professional help, Alton, so go ahead.
Okay, we found something very, very magical. And he was in a situation where he was fighting for his life, and then he had to, well, he didn't have to, but he said, if I feel like I'm losing, I'm going to pull a card. We have this deck, and he will gesture towards Mara.
Mara will take out the deck of many things.
And Alantar sort of puts her hand out, as if saying, doesn't say anything, but just gestures as though, please place it in my palm.
I think as Mara is moving the deck over towards her, I'll just say, be careful.
Oh, don't worry, dear. I've got several of these already. I'm very, very aware.
Several. We can buy more. Mara. There's got to be one of these XP ones in here.
If you pull the sun 4 times,
she mixes them all together like a massive deck. And Mara gives it, hands it over.
It's 128 card deck.
Pull 5 and did you get any land cards? Right. So she hands it over.
Yeah. So do any of you
Very
actually
careful.
say anything when she says, I have several of these? I'm very well aware, or is it just a look
I don't know
on your
what
face?
that is.
Mara looks shocked, but tries to hide it.
I think Alton's will you'll just get an eyebrow raise off of Alton more than likely. But still, clearly he sort of he now fully understands he doesn't understand. So
I take it the way you're describing things, that your friend pulled a card and then just disappeared, and all of his clothing and everything just fell to the floor where he was.
Yeah.
yes, it's actually very accurate of what happened. Yes.
Yeah, I have witnessed the effect myself in some of my experimentations and things. Some of the deck can provide fantastic items, and people can gain experience far beyond their years and powers and money, but there are some incredibly dangerous things, and this is in probably one of the ones in the category a bit in between. Not dangerous, but it is very difficult to find your friend and where he is, and he will find it incredibly difficult to make his way back as well.
I think Alton was sort of like with tears welling up a bit in his eyes. We owe him whatever it takes. We need to do it. We just don't know how.
And you can just sort of see her looking. I think I will have to... Yes, I shall have to do some... Let me confer with my colleagues a moment.
I think Alton for the first time will look for other people.
Yeah.
And she just sort of gestures at you all, and if get you all to make wisdom saving throws.
Uh-oh.
Is this magic?
Motherfucker.
It is magic, so you do get your advantage.
Okay.
Oh wait, I actually have a decent wisdom on this character.
Holy shit. Yeah, Cyric just rolled real good too. He rolled a 21.
Oh, and I actually... I didn't press the saving throw.
All right.
Oh,
So
well, whatever the difference
So,
is.
It's about the
Yeah,
same.
so-
I don't think you're proficient.
you can keep
Yeah,
the
you are.
roll, and if you're
Plus 4 to
proficient, you
that.
add your proficiency plus 4. Right. Okay.
So 25.
Okay.
So-
Anyone else?
7.
I got a 7.
Do I get the jack of all trades on wisdom saves?
That's only ability checks.
If you're not, it is yeah.
I'm
Or
not
is it
proficient-
just ability checks. Yeah. Okay.
Just ability checks.
Okay, well in that case, I got
Which
with
includes
my
initiative.
advantage. I got an 18 minus 1, 17.
Okay.
I got a 28.
Okay.
I got a 7.
No,
Everybody
26.
up. Sorry, how much did you say, Mara?
26.
All right. So, Cyric and Mara, nothing happens to you. Scale, Garvin, and Alton, you are all deafened. So you can't hear anything at all.
Oh, okay.
And she's not being aggressive, it's just she's wanted to confer silently.
Can I try to read her lips?
Mara will try hold out her hand so she can get the deck back.
She ignores you, and she turns away, and you can't see what she's saying or doing at the moment. She's just muttering under her breath, and 3 other people step out of basically nowhere, and this is very curious to you all, as all 3 of them, now 4 of them, are quite clearly the same person. It's just the other ones are dressed differently. They similar garb, but it's not exactly the same. They're all in blue. Another one has a dress as well, but it's slightly different. One of them is in blue leather armor that's been dyed, but it is clearly the same person. One of them has a terrible scar on their face and a burn on the other side of their face. But undeniably, the structure, the face, it's the same person.
Twins.
Or quads, as you would say.
Twins.
Identical quads. And they just start... I'm not going to roleplay the conversation completely, but Cyric and Mara do overhear it. And what they hear is them discussing how they can help, the fact that they are quite willing to help you, but that it is incredibly expensive and time-consuming to locate someone that has been bamfed away by a deck of many things. And there's a sort of argument, 2 on each side, as they start saying that, or 2 of them start saying that they should demand that you undertake a task for them to retrieve some sort of artifact that they don't name or talk about. They just call the artifact for them as recompense for helping you. And this goes on for, it's not you're not silent for a long time. It's maybe 5 minutes of this discourse backwards and forwards. An agreement is finally reached to put this to you. They're not making any demands, but they win out that they think it's fair to ask a price to help. And the 3 that appear vanish in the same way that they came, almost like going up to one of the bits of ivy and sort of drawing it apart as a curtain and just walking through where there's no door or anything. They just vanish when the ivy falls back. And She turns back round and sort of waves her hand, so those of you that were affected can hear again now. And she goes, apologies for that. I just needed a little bit of privacy while I talked with my counterparts. Yes, I think we can help you, but we would have you perform a task for us. But I must admit, she's totally ignoring you, Mara. With your hand out, absolutely ignoring the fact that your hand's out. You can continue doing it, but I'm just being clear that she is pointedly just not acknowledging that at all.
Can Alton just sort of grab Mara's hand and just pull it down slightly?
if Mara allows that.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, she's not disappeared the deck. It's still clutched in her hand. So whilst she's not immediately giving it back to you, she hasn't given it to one of the others. It's never left your sight.
Okay.
Yes, we have a task that we would ask in return for helping you. I think I can find your friend, but it is not quick process, and it will not be easy. It will be very taxing upon my powers. And it will not be cheap either. I shall have to use quite a lot of expensive and rare reagents to find your friend.
He's not in this realm, so don't bother looking.
Well, I think that's probably why you came to see me, my dear. We are specialists in planar and dimensional magic.
I have a question, though.
I have an answer.
Okay.
I know in some other realms, time doesn't work the same way.
Indeed.
He could be moving either faster or a lot slower. I think we need to know. That is
always a possibility. When the deck of many things does this to an individual, they don't always end up in exactly the same place. Because we have, in our experiment, sent two people at the same time, and they didn't interact where they ended up. But
what did you just call it?
Call what? Sorry, the deck of many things. And she sort of jiggles it in her hand. That is its colloquial name, or what its original inventor called it. He made many copies. The magic to create these is lost, but there are hundreds of them out in the world.
Okay.
Some psycho wizard just made a fuck ton of decks and was like, be free!
Oh, yes.
Cause turmoil.
He was a bit of a madman.
Yeah.
You know, one I'm sure you probably, maybe you haven't come across. And my line of experimentation in magics, unfortunately, you occasionally come across people that have driven a little bit barmy by their singular nature and drive, and loneliness and solitude as well. And that's when the dangerous things tend to be made, when they're not really thinking about what they're doing. They're just trying to create for the sake of creating.
I think Alton would sort of take that on board as a penny drop somewhere.
I mean, some crazy wizards build massive underground labyrinths of monsters. Some make decks.
And some crazy wizards make giant invisible towers in the middle of a city.
Well,
Mara winces.
We don't know.
No, sorry.
Sorry, Captain. But I believe we do need this person's help.
Oh,
Yes.
don't worry. I don't feel that was an insult at all.
I don't feel crazy at all.
I'm new to this. Sorry.
I am selective in who I speak to. And she looks directly at you, Alton, and goes, there are other curiosities amongst you that I find intriguing amongst my speciality. You, for example, have the reek of the Feywild all over you. It's quite spicy and intriguing.
Can I roll a perception to smell something?
Absolutely.
You'll just
Can you
smell
find
jam.
out? Is he a spicy boy?
Well, that's very
Old
impressive.
Spice.
I'm
23.
You don't smell anything other than the BO of your companions.
Alton will sort of look back and sort of cheerily actually sort of say, "Oh, that's very impressive. I actually, the reason I know that time moves differently is because I'm not from this realm. I'm from the Feywild, actually, a place called the Shimmerwood. Pleasure to meet you."
And she looks at you very intently. She's looking right into your eyes and goes, "You may think you're not from here, but that is not quite true."
I think Alton will sort of look at her like, is she lying to me right now?
Insight.
Why am I blurry?
God damn it.
You're getting the bad rolls out now.
That's a 1. It's a nat 1.
You believe that?
You have no reason to disbelieve that she is telling you the absolute truth.
Well, I think you must be mistaken, because I'm not from here. I've been here a while. Maybe I've gotten pretty good at talking like the people from this realm. Like I knew what the captain did was rude. I never would have noticed that before.
I think you misunderstand me. I can tell by your demeanor and your aura that you have grown up and lived in the Feywild for a long period of time, but
Alton scratches his horns.
That is not where you're from.
Well, if not from... he's sort of stuck for words a bit. So, from another realm?
Well, from Faerun. I couldn't tell you where you're from, but
Yeah, you're a gnome.
you are definitely from the realms.
Yeah, you're a gnome. This Faerun is where gnomes are from.
That
Eating popcorn.
can't possibly be true. My father is in the Shimmerwood. I remember being born there. Like every
Do you remember
young...
your birth?
Yes, like every young child, I was in a pink liquid. It was scary. I remember it being scary. And I was drowning. And my father picked me up from my birthing pool. Yes, I remember.
And you can see she has got a really sort of quaint smile on her face. Do you know how children traditionally are born?
Yes, just
So
like that.
birds and bees.
Yeah.
Eggs.
Yeah. Ravens and swarm.
No. Have you ever seen an animal give birth?
Well, I mean, no, but
Well,
I know it is the coupling. It is given from the mother of the land. That's what my father used to tell me. My mother was the land, and she birthed me.
I think your father sounds a very kind man and has been trying
He is a king.
trying to understand something he doesn't understand fully, because mammals, gnomes, horses, humans, many manner of beasts and monsters, it is the female of the species that grow children inside them and give birth to them from their bodies. That is how you were born.
I was born of the Fae.
No, you were born from a female gnome.
What?
You are always the same species as your parents. Is your father the king in the Shimmerwood and no?
Yes. No. He is like the stag god, and then he will actually perfectly reimagine his king father, essentially.
Oh, a silent image sort of thing.
Yeah, illusioned, sitting on his throne.
I am sure he is a kind man that has raised you as your child, and he is your father.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, he is not your sire.
Well, then...
Is he married? Do you have any brothers or sisters?
No, he had a mate before me. She was killed.
That is sad.
Yes.
But if he had another mate or had children with that mate, they would have been satyrs like him, not a gnome like yourself.
Well, I mean, yes, but there are creatures similar to me in the Fae.
Absolutely.
And
if they have children, they would make children the same as them.
Have you ever?
I'm not trying to. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm being incredibly rude and I'm tearing apart your own life. It's things that you believe to be true quite plainly aren't, but that is not really my business, so I apologize.
Well, you asked me if I've ever seen an animal giving birth, and I have. Some of the deer and the fauna.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that. It's messy.
Yes, that is how gnomish women, human women, ogre
Alton
women,
just looks at Mara.
that is how they give birth to their children. That is how you were born.
But how wait. Then how did I... Because for me to get back from the realm took a great deal of magic from the sages, and I know I don't have that much magic. I've got a lot though, but not that much.
That is a question I cannot answer, but I would love to find out the answer. But I would probably have to ask you to stay here so we can do experiments.
Experiments?
Oh, I'm not one of the crazies, you know.
No, I'd have to say no because I need to take him to Luskin.
Well, I'm just offering, dearie.
So you were saying that, and he points at Mara, gnomes and humans. So where is my mother?
That I can't answer, I'm afraid. Obviously, you know about the time dilation between here and the Feywild.
Yes, I do.
Your real parents could have died centuries ago, for all I know. Or they could still be alive.
Alton just his...
Gnomes live quite a long time compared to humans and other creatures.
Of course. Yes.
I'm sorry, I can see I've shaken you. It was not my intent. I much apologise.
Well, even more reason why we must find Celir soon. Alton will just retreat.
I think during this whole conversation, Scale is actually like against the wall that the door was on, occasionally trying to feel for the seam of the door in the wall.
And all you can feel is the glass and the metal frame of the glass and vines and things that are running up this. Because you're in this like beautiful, completely circular conservatory.
I don't think Scale has ever been to the forest.
Yeah.
I don't think Scale.
It's beautiful from my perspective, but you can.
I don't think Scale has seen any of these types of plants because these are not coastal plants.
No, they are not.
Just like
and And it continues to be steamy and humid, of that sort of jungle sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't think she's gone very far south.
Yeah, absolutely. And she says, and well, before I continue, do any of the rest of you have any other questions? Or shall I put my proposal to you?
Well,
We just want to find our friend.
yeah, we will have to try and help with Alton's issue once our friend is, I guess, with us again.
It's not an issue. I'm sorry.
Mara will look at Alton. It is an issue now.
No, Alton at the moment is just sort of playing with like a dagger or something.
I do apologise, my dear. It was not my intention to upset your friend.
Oh no, I'm fine. Continue.
These sorts of things are like puzzles, and I like solving them, and I just can't help myself but point them out when they're presented to me. It's one of the reasons I sent you the request to come here when I found out that you were looking to speak to me. As I said, I'm very selective of who I let in here, and most in the city, probably the marshal and aside, probably don't know I'm here. They'll have seen me in the streets occasionally when I go into town, but and she just sort of trails off a little bit, sort of thinking. Anyway.
You still get the honking from the jungle, though. But never mind. Well, give us a proposal.
Well, I will not lie. It shall be quite dangerous, I would imagine. But and you see, she sort of struggles a little bit. It's like, I'm sorry. I probably have to explain a bit more than I'm comfortable with, but I think for you to truly understand what I'm asking and why I'm asking, I will have to explain. You probably know me as the Azure Wizard, as I'm probably known occasionally in things, but truly this is actually part of the Azure Enclave. And we are specialists in planar and dimensional magic, which has brought you to my door. You will have seen my counterparts no doubt, when I was conversing with them. Now, they are not my sisters. They are not... Do you know what magic that people can duplicate themselves? They're nothing by those means. They are me from other dimensions.
Are we seriously multiverse theory? Oh my god!
Council of Ricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The Azure Enclave number in the thousands. And yet there is only one single member.
It's Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
It's the multiverse.
It's the multiverse theory.
You ask why I hide in a broken tower on the edge of a city.
I think Alton at this point would say, "Oh no, I understand. You get to hide from everybody."
Mara looks like she doesn't believe it.
The reason that it is here is that this is the only nexus and stable point that we have ever found between the dimensions where we can actually converse face to face.
Can you travel from here?
Yes, but it is dangerous for us to travel into each other's dimensions.
I'll do it.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't really allow that at the moment, as we have lost several members of the Enclave that have tried it.
I have nothing to lose.
She looks very pained and says, we have actually collapsed an entire dimension before and lost everybody within it.
God, I hope Celia wasn't there.
It was quite a long time ago. And at that, she just sort of she pulls a bit of her hair behind her ear. And you probably assumed she was human before now, but when you see that she's got the pointed ears, she's quite clearly actually an elf.
Obviously, time travelers are going to be elven. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come on.
The only way they can live.
not a time
The only way they can
traveler,
live
she's-
long enough.
Yeah. And
Listen, this lady's a time lord. You're not going to convince me any other.
and you are currently in her TARDIS.
I wrote down time lord in my notes. Like this is how it is.
Well,
Oh,
dealing with
Asher.
the multiverse, the different... Never mind.
It's Asher, like the police box. It's blue.
This nexus allows, as I said, there are thousands of members, but this nexus can only allow 12 of us to meet at any one time. Any more than that, and its magics are overloaded, and it could collapse, potentially causing the collapse of all of our dimensions, which would mean killing everybody on the world and all the other worlds that are out there in the skies.
Why risk it?
Pass. No.
Knowledge. That
No.
search for knowledge. It is a
But the search for knowledge...
It is a puzzle I have to use. I have to try. It is
Master of understatement.
Yes. The item, the artifact that had been being brought to me, I think will have the power to bolster this nexus so more of us may meet in conference at the same time. It was being brought to me on a ship coming from the Moonshay Islands just to the southwest of here. And the ship disappeared midway between there and Neverwinter. I have managed through my magics to locate the wreckage of the ship, but I need somebody to retrieve the artifact for me. I'm not going to lie, I am sure that it will probably be dangerous.
Yeah.
I do not think that the
Alton will index finger her.
Mhm.
We've only ever done things that are dangerous.
Live to win.
Scale will finger Alton.
You will finger
Wait,
all.
hold on.
Bum poke.
Listen, we do not need to set off the chat again. Just
Yeah.
continue.
Please don't volunteer me for something dangerous.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was...
I'm the only one with a boat out of you four. Three.
Oh, yes.
We have
Four.
money. We have a boat. Can I roll
Can you-
a check for what I know about the Moonshay?
I think Mara's going into business mode, and I think Alton is more concentrated on Captain Scale, and he was sort of under his breath sort of say, you do not have to do anything you don't want to. I forgot.
We'll pay you.
Perception? Persuasion?
Not sure it's a deal.
You're trying to work out what you know about the Moonshay would be history.
Perception? That will be 14.
Do I see the Moonshay Isles from here?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm an expert. I can see it from here.
Alton got a natural 20 on that. On the Moonshay.
Right.
Oof.
Okay.
How he would know anything, I don't know.
Well, I think that we can easily explain anything Alton knows about things because you've spent a lot of time in inns doing bardic things,
Sure.
swapping tales, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
So
My
it's-
puppet shows.
Yeah, absolutely. So that side of things is quite easily explained because you've been here long enough now to sort of understand. So the Moonshay Islands are a collection of islands to the southwest of Neverwinter. They are probably about 400 miles off the Sword Coast is their closest thing. So that's sort of how far out to sea they are.
So they're locked out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're made up of many islands that are all inhabited. The people, there's two main peoples. They're mostly humans, and they're known the Northlanders, who, funnily enough, live in the Northern Islands, and the folk, who refer to themselves as the folk in the rest of the populated islands. There are small amounts of elves and dwarves and halflings there as well, but by and large, it is a human place. Mara, you'll know that it's known for its fishing. There's a lot of the trade stuff, fishing, and similar actually to Der Balchan.
You've got yourself a moonshade bass. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Forestry, hunting, pelts, and things like that. Alton, in your passing of stories with other bards, you'll know 3 other things. One of the islands, called Oman, which was once the center of the Northlander folk, has now been overrun by Formian giants and is a very dangerous place. One of the islands, called Snowdown, used to actually belong to the same country that Waterdeep is from, and it is now reputed to be ruled by a vampiress.
Mommy.
Okay.
All right.
And the last is that there is a war-torn island called Moray.
Like an eel.
Yes, indeed. It's spelt the same way. And it is reputed to be run by the Black Blood tribe, which are human lycanthropes.
Oh my god.
These are smaller islands. The folk are still normal, civilized people that control the majority of the islands, but there are weird and bad things there.
Can I get the name of the one with the vampirus on it?
It's called Snowdown.
Snowdown.
Island.
Yeah.
Island. It's one of the islands within the Moonshee Islands. And the last thing that both you and Mara would know is that the folk are, even people that aren't full druids, it is a society ruled by druidic peoples.
Okay.
Interesting.
Can I ask another question?
Absolutely.
So 3 islands make up the Moonshee Isles.
Many more than 3.
Okay.
Those are the
3 weird ones.
They're the 3
main
weird
ones.
ones. Yeah.
I understand. Okay, cool.
And I rolled a 19 on my history, but specifically for any trade routes and knowledge of getting there.
You'd probably know the Waterdeep history then.
There are many trade routes between the Moonshee Islands, between Neverwinter, Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate, and Candlekeep.
Okay, so it's pretty easy to get there if we.
Oh, absolutely! Yeah. It's a well-trodden path, and actually, you would know as well. 400 miles is like a day's journey, really.
Yeah. So it's like I've probably been there.
Fair winds is not quite that quick, but maybe say a couple of days with fair weather.
Did I
a week
misunderstand?
with really bad weather.
Did I misunderstand, or is the ship crashed here or over there?
No, it's in the Moonshee Islands.
Oh, it's in the Moonshee.
No. It left the Moonshee Islands, and it's halfway between the Moonshee Islands and Neverwinter in open ocean.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
You know what hides in open ocean? Giant monsters.
Yeah.
But carry on.
Yes.
Don't be so happy about it.
Hey, this may be slightly Sea of Thieves, and
I know what this is.
I've been playing Subnautica again as well. So.
Oh no!
No.
Oh, that's the right response. Yes.
Like,
I think we've all been scared of Subnautica.
the scream of that monster, and as it comes out at you from under the water.
Yeah.
It happened
Alright.
like behind the screen, but I fucking.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, you haven't got Kraken in a
Also, I
sloop
think
in
you
Sea
would
of
know as well
Thieves
is
either.
There are
Very
there are
scary.
dozens of islands in the Moonshae Isles, but there's probably about 8 or 9 sort of main islands.
And essentially, what we know is that they're known as the folk there.
That's the main people.
Okay.
Are
They
call
they
themselves the folk.
and they're interspersed everywhere essentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
I get you.
The main island, if you want to know, the main island is called Winterglen.
Winterglen. Well, if I didn't know that, then it's not.
One of us would.
Yeah. I did get a natty 20.
You rolled
yeah.
over 20,
surely
so I
would.
think,
Yeah.
I think you would.
I think to be honest, I was
You
talking
can
to someone
basically
from
go
there.
on. Yeah, Alton can basically go on the Forgotten Realms wiki and know anything that's there about the Moonshae Islands with that roll.
Sweet.
It's folk with 2 F.
That's correct, yes.
I know that without looking.
So you want us to go, I guess, scavenging a shipwreck?
Mhm.
Captain, how far?
I mean, you're free to
No.
anything else that you find, but not scavenge. It is mine. I have bought and paid for it. It's
What?
just
Can you remind me what we're looking for?
well, I will tell you more if you decide. To
We will
take
do
me
it.
up on my offer.
We will
Yeah.
do it.
Well, I'll take it.
Captain, how far out would this be? How long would that take?
And she'll maybe get a map and sort of show you where it is, and you would say like a day and a half, 2 days from.
They didn't have 2 days for the midpoint?
Okay. So
Well,
not
we
that
paid
far.
for that already.
Well, no, you paid to be taken to Luskin.
No,
You
we
didn't
paid
pay.
you for the extra days as well.
It is the one thing that Mara
30 gold.
and obviously Scale know that it's the opposite direction. To
It's,
Luskin.
yeah, it's south.
It's the midpoint is probably the same distance south as Luskin is north.
We will pay
So
you whatever
if-
you need to be paid, Captain.
If you go there and then Luskin, it'll triple the time of your journey.
Yeah, this is something that you will need to set time aside for, and we'll need to specifically get supplies for, because we're going underwater. We need to find a means to travel underwater. We don't know how deep it is, how long we'll be there, and from what I've heard, your mission in Luskin is sort of time sensitive.
So is this, though.
Yeah.
Well, how long has this ship been sunk?
It has been, and she sort of thinks, probably
How-
3 months now.
It's not time sensitive.
Well,
No.
it is not time sensitive, but
Why
it
we're
is-
doing it is we need to get to Celir.
Yeah. The
It
the
is
money-
not time sensitive on my behalf, but it may be on your behalf.
It is.
I just won't be willing to help you until my part of the bargain is dealt with. That is all. Although I will start in good faith if you say you're going to do it. Would it be helpful for you guys if I put you onto the world map so you can have a look at this at the moment?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me zoom in a bit.
Here we are.
So these are the Moonshae Islands over here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Nicely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you notice, Neverwinter and Luskin are very close compared to Moonshae Islands.
We're going halfway.
So that's the whale bones, roughly.
Yeah, she's shown you on a map somewhere that's about here, just to the north of the whale bones.
Is there like just where she points?
Almost
there,
in
like,
line with Waterdeep. Sorry, Mara, I talked over you.
just where she points? Is there like a picture? Here there be krakens.
or possibly a ghost ship.
Ah,
or
stop. No, please.
Oh, scrags everywhere.
Megalodon.
No.
Oh.
We don't have a big enough boat for that kind of thing.
Jaws reference. Haha! Haha!
I think if a boat that is enough to take you will make it. It's not a particularly dangerous part of the ocean, which is why I'm fairly sure that the ship did not disappear in normal circumstances, as the weather was fair and there is no reason for it to have sunk. And as I've said, I have used my magic to determine it has definitely sunk. That is why I can tell you so accurately where to look.
Would you be able to help us to go under the water?
Yeah.
I may be able to provide some water-breathing potions.
We bought water walking last time, right?
Actually,
No, it wasn't breathing.
we actually did check the
Water breathing. 4.
Yeah. Either way, she'd be able to offer you like one each.
Awesome.
We'll take them.
Yeah. So add another 5 or whatever.
I think
Yeah.
Alton
Whatever.
will approach Mara.
Right.
I know you want to get to Luskan, but Celir, he gave up everything to help me, as did you all.
Yeah. We don't know if he's he's suffering right now. Can I ask you something though? When will you be able to? Do we have to deliver it directly to you, or if
Yes,
we bring it up to...
I need the artifact.
If Neverwinter would be on the way between Luskan and where the shipwreck is anyway, so we'd just stop in port.
We have also another thing that comes
Which is on the way to Luskan.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, here's my thing. I don't think your friend is going anywhere.
You say that like
You'll get major stink eye for that.
We have. Right, we need to make a decision. On one hand, 2 other time-sensitive things are happening at the same time. This message, which helps us in Luskan, and the event in Luskan. Whereas this, on the other hand, we don't really know how bad he's doing over there, and how long it will take for us to find the object under the water.
Which is what makes it even more sensitive.
Yeah.
If we could do both, that's great, but...
No. Would you be able to magic us away to Luskan?
No, then my boat's still here.
I think she was maybe talking to me, my dear. But
Right, but I'm telling her no. I'm telling her no, don't do that, because my boat's still here.
You'll still be paid.
Either way, it is not the type of magic that I have extensively.
She makes an illusion of Luskan. You're here! And she walks off.
I can get you into Luskan in another dimension, not this Luskan here.
Welcome to friendly Luskan.
What is the other time sensitive thing? What is this that you were talking about? Is it something I can help with? I could send a message to somebody if that is helpful.
We would be interested in some help as that as well. In that as well, as I'm struggling with English. The head of my church in Neverwinter was secreted away by Drow. And
was that what all the fuss was at the Temple of Joaquin? I did pass it by, and it's just ashes now.
No, that was another event.
Because it definitely looked to me to be magical fire that had raged there.
Yes, a fireball gone awry, and she won't look at him.
A fireball in amongst all the paperwork of the Temple of Joaquin. Oh, I can understand why it's so bad now.
Though he was gone long before that. Would you have any ability to locate him in Luskan?
Unfortunately not, because it has to be something... although I located what I was looking for, it is because it's something that is very dear to me, that I've studied for a long time.
Yeah.
I would need to know somebody to be able to do that.
Mm.
It was also not a quick process, because it is not a normal spell. I have to spend a lot of time and ritualistic magic to extend normal spells beyond their capabilities.
Yeah. Well then. Then there
Those
might not
types
be...
of spells usually can only find people within a mile or so of the magic user.
Yeah. Somebody in chat made it a very clear option. No, we'll need to decide on what to do. I'm conflicted.
Well, I mean, we're doing both.
Yeah.
Your Cyric friend here already promised me money. So, I'll take you to both.
Money is not an option. No, not a problem is what I mean. Money's not a problem.
Good.
Right. And we don't know how long anything will take in Luskan either. Ultimately, perhaps it would be best to... We could always go, meet the secret message, and then go and get the object.
Sorry, you said you had a secret message? What sort of secret message?
We don't know yet.
Yes. I got a letter from a roguish type to meet on an island, and he might provide aid.
Were you talking about the same thing, Alton, or were you talking about the cipher?
No, I was talking about her love letter she got.
Ah, okay. That's fine.
This handsome rogue sent me a letter. So that might be...
I think she sort of looks at you and goes, well, I think, unfortunately, affairs of the heart should probably take the back burner.
Well, this is not a... I agree, and this is not that, so...
Come now, my dear, I can see you're flushed at the attentions of a dashing rogue.
Yes, Mara, why don't you smell the letter again?
Well, why don't I leave you for a while and you can talk it between yourselves and help? And she sort of gestures and a table appears and there's wine and beer and water and fruit juices and cold cuts and cheese and not an inconsiderable amount of jam. Take some sustenance and...
I think Alton looks to her as she's... putting out this bounty, and I have forgotten her name. Is it Alasandar or something?
Alantar.
He says, well, Alantar, I think we both know you won't be going anyway.
And she just smiles at you and goes, oh, but I will.
Sure. We'll totally open up about everything. See you in a moment.
And she does the same as her counterparts, as just sort of parts.
She just Homer Simpsons into a bush.
Yeah, basically. And I think that's maybe a good point to have a wee mid-session break.
Well.
And by the time we come back, we will have a decision on what we're doing.
Good idea.
We're not going to discuss this on stream for another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Well, you can. It's been quite good. There's been a lot of good role play, so
yeah, for sure.
It's not been wasted time.
No, all right. We'll be back in
anyway,
5 or 10 minutes. See y'all in.
Bye.